Look up to your fellow lifters in admiration, for they fail more than they succeed, in hopes to succeed more than they fail. What's going on, gentlemen? Welcome back to Cam and Dan Train. Today is our dynamic camber bar squat day. It's week 5. We're feeling good, we're looking good, and we're moving good. And if you got those three things going for you, don't think your day can get any more better than that. I'm kind of shooting from the hip today as far as what I'm going to talk about. I have some ideas as to what I want to talk about, and I'm just going to gloss over the training a little bit, and at the end I'll cover a little bit deeper as the speed drill that we have going on here. As you can see at the beginning of the video, I was I guess you say whistling Dixie, and I was trying to get my head straight because I picked some weight to do for the 6x6 today that was questionable. Mind you, I seem to do this every time I do the 6x6, and we're trying to progress the 6x6 as high as we can go as far as weight, and still make it work, still make sure that we're being explosive, still make sure that we're able to do drills like this, our speed drills on the side or our jumping on the side, and making sure that it's as effective as possible. So, I like to say to my clients when I give them weights, or I give them like a max effort day, and they're looking at me like I told them I wanted to do X as a number, right? And they look at me like I'm crazy. I just tell them, aim for the stars and hit the moon, man. Because if you hit the moon, you're doing good, If you miss the moon and go straight to the stars, you're doing great, So that's kind of how I approach training, right? And, not trying to fail or anything like that, but trying to exert and push myself and push Cam as much as we can. And Cam has been following the same pace with me. He's been going up I think 5 pounds each week on the 6x6. And looking at that progression, look at that progress, especially with a new bar, something we're not used to, I think that is great progress. And if you got somebody telling you otherwise, maybe they just don't know what they're talking about, or they lack so little confidence in themselves that they can't generate enough energy in their mindset to actually do something like that. And yes, this is like a linear type of training, right? You progress 5 pounds each week, and then eventually you have diminishing returns, and that's perfectly normal. But gonna push it as far as you can. I'm gonna push the linear periodization here as far as I can. And mind you, next week is week 6. It's the last week of this wave, and then we go back to straight bar, right? So maybe I may be making a mistake here, or me and Cam may be making a mistake here, as to maybe we should spend more time on the camber bar until we have diminishing returns, or find another 6-week wave to do that is with a different bar, a different stimulus, right? That way you don't run into overtraining, you don't have diminishing returns, you don't run into injuries, which, like, I should have said number 1, right? So look at it from all sorts of different angles. Look at it from different perspectives. I always like to kind of put things in threes, so I gave you 3 reasons as to why we are going to change or not change, right? And by doing this, you can really see progress happen, and I think that's very important. When I write I don't really write these down, right? I don't write these days down because it's just too much going on. Okay, so I write down the max efforts that me and Cam do, so I have those on record, so we have a reference as to where we need to be training. The rest of it is all just percentage based. Okay, it's percentage based, and you can add your tempos in there, you can add your pauses in there, and it keeps things really fresh, and we still continue to see progress. Okay, I know Cam has seen an immense amount of progress in the past year. Like I mentioned before, we had a bit of a hiatus. We had a break from training due to the world coming apart at the seams. And I'm not going to touch too much on that, but it seems to me like it's the zipper's going up and it's missing a few links in the line, if you know what I mean. And I recently had a conversation. Well, it wasn't really a conversation. It was more like an interrogation. It was an interrogation between me and some parent of a group of athletes that I work with. And the parent was questioning my ethics of training, how I train, and what's going on, and why is basically there's some tension between me and the group of kids that I work with. Mind you, they're 12 years old, okay? And basically what he said was there was tension, and he wants to know what's going on and why that's happening. And that his athlete said that I told her that I wouldn't repeat myself, right? Well, I simply told him, look, I lose my patience too. I work with a lot of groups, and these kids coming in now are basically the worst group of athletes I've ever worked with in my tenure. I'm doing this 10 years, right? They lack work ethic. They come in complaining right off the bat. They flat out don't want to do the work. They ask the same question over and over again, so they lack an attention span. Nonetheless, they have the memory of a goldfish, about 15 seconds, all right? And it's not just me, it's their coaches as well that are having a tough time. And we've had to do some disciplinary action on a few of them. And so, just trying to keep it as short as possible, I told him that look what happened to these kids in the past 2 years. You the adults and the leaders shut everything down and made this wild decision to just stop living, right? So these kids missed out on a whole year of maturing, a whole year of listening, a whole year of discipline. And this is the end result. You're going to have more problems, okay? So, going back to training, if you take that and I'm going to try to make an analogy out of this, okay? If you take your body and not train for a year and then try to come back and hit your maxes from when you previously trained, what are the chances you're going to hit those maxes, right? Maybe a 10 to 15% chance, less. Depends on what you were doing, okay? Granted, there are a few people out there that, can maintain a certain level of strength, right? And can get close if they have the mindset and maybe the genetic background, okay? So, when Cam came back, he was a little disheartened because I was still progressing. I had made changes to the program, and it was a big adjustment. In all this, if you're starting up, don't stop. Don't stop training. Don't stop working, right? You gotta keep your head down, put your hood over your head, put your earbuds in, and just get the work in. I had an athlete come in this morning. His first day. It was day one of her summer college program. And she came in with just piss poor attitude. And that it aggravates me, because the day before she came in, she goes, Dan, I want to train with you. I want to get strong. I want to do this. I was like, okay, come in tomorrow, anytime. I'll work with you. I'll get you right. I'll get you set. And she comes in 8 a.m. I'm bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Me and Cam are training, and she is not having it. And at the end of her training session, I told her, the way you approach training is the way you're going to approach life. If you embrace it, you're going to want to chase it. If you don't embrace it, it's going to chase you, and you're not going to enjoy it, right? And then I basically told her, make sure you clean your stuff up, and then you did a great job. Here's a fist bump. Have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow, right? And I think people really don't, there's a lot of people out there, the influencers and people on TikTok and things like that, that embrace it, right? And a lot of individuals see that, and they think that every day is, a magical journey in the gym, and that's just not the case. And reality is, if you don't embrace it, it's going to chase you. And it's going to chase you in a sense that your health is going to diminish, your mobility is going to diminish, your libido is going to diminish, right? You're just going to start losing things slowly, one by one. And you're going to wonder what happened, and you're going to go to the doctor, and you're going to say, Doc, I feel different. I don't feel as young as I used to be, blah, blah, blah. And all he's going to say, or she's going to say, is, well, that's part of getting old. And I think that's really unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate that that's how people perceive aging, right? I'm mid-30s. I feel damn good, right? But I'm doing the necessary things. I'm doing what I should be doing, at least what I think I should be doing, right? Based on research, based on how I feel day to day waking up, right? Granted, I wake up in the morning, I'm not a happy morning person, right? I just don't want to be talked to, right? But once I get the juices flowing, right, then, I'm raring to go. But some people, they just have this mindset, and it aggravates me, but at the same time, I'm not going to take it home with me, right? And that's another thing. You can't take bad gym days home with you. You take some notes on it, whether mental or physical notes, right? You can refer back to it, and then from there, make your decision on as to how you're going to improve upon that, or why that happened. You didn't eat enough. You didn't sleep enough. You didn't have enough water, right? Those are three simple reasons why it doesn't work, right? You find out that your girlfriend cheated on you, you're pissed off. Well, okay, then go to the gym, and that's fodder for your motivation, right? So take those little things that really bug you and direct that energy into something that's going to better you. And I think that's the attitude you need to take. And maybe that would be a better message that I should have for this athlete that came in this morning that was just miserable, right? To embrace it, to take that miserable energy and turn it into a little bit of anger, and turn that anger into energy, right? And push that energy into the bar, and push those feet into the floor so you can push that energy back into the earth. And it'll cycle itself, right? She left with a smile on her face, right? But I know tomorrow morning when she comes in, she's a sore Sally, sore as all hell. Now that's not my number one thing that I want to do to someone. That's not my intention, is to make people sore, but it's often the result because of the lack of conditioning. The speed work, I know I'm really changing course, but kind of had to get that little rant out there. The speed work that we're doing, okay, so stepping onto the box, I got a side-to-side, quick lateral, like defensive movement, a 7-yard acceleration, quick break, plant, step back a little bit, and do a workaround. So I do a UE around those cones, okay? So this drill is effective for people who play lacrosse, people who play soccer, linebackers. It's a great linebacker drill. I would use this with a kid who is a linebacker, right? And Cam over here, he's lateral movement is just not his forte, you know. But when I design these drills, these speed drills, there's always an intention. It's always multifaceted or multidimensional, right? So you can apply these to all sorts of different athletes, okay? The reason why we use the box, okay, because you could do this on the floor. You could do this like in a speed ladder, like a little square, and do the ski side to side or the quick hop to hop side to side like Cam's doing here, right? The box, it's offsetting your footing and forcing you to produce force at different heights. So you stimulate speed, response, and fast twitch muscles at different heights. So you can get the best out of your performance or out of your athleticism is what it does. Okay, so we have I have 4 different box heights that I use with my athletes. Okay, and I employ all of them as often as possible and make it as versatile as possible, because you never know what height you're going to step in, okay? Or if you're playing on a, dog shit piece of soccer field, and you step in a hole, right? That your body knows how to absorb and come out of that impact, right? Now, mind you, that's a 6-inch box. There isn't going to be a 6-inch gopher hole in the middle of a soccer field. At least I would hope not. If you're playing somewhere like that, then, please, complain to your coaches about it, because that's just a hazard in general. But I mean, we've all played on uneven surfaces. We all don't play on a perfectly polished field all the time. At least, majority of athletes don't play on a perfectly polished field all the time, right? Not every single team. Look at, obviously in America, the football is number one, right? There's not a lot of soccer players that are playing on football fields, right? That are polished turf that are paid for by the school, okay? I got to cut it off here. I got to cut it short, guys. Here's the close-up, a little bit of speed work. Have a great day. Get some work in. Peace.